These are the top 5 changes I have observed in Thailand over the last 20 years. And before I begin, I want to say these are my opinions. I also don't want to offend anybody with any of the subjects that I'm going to cover. These are just items that I have noticed with my 2 eyes, and in no particular order of importance, starting with number 1, people in Thailand are actually fatter than they used to be. The very first time I met my wife, she had mentioned to me when we were traveling back to her hometown, and look everywhere I can to find fat people. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and I maybe saw 1 or 2. Overweight people were non-existent. Fast forward to now, you go to the local mall, you go to one of the schools, you have a lot of overweight people, and it ranges in age. You have the little kids that are overweight, you have the teenagers that are overweight, you have the 20-somethings, the 30-somethings, even the older generations. Just a lot of people that have gotten larger. I believe that a lot of this has to do with a lot of the sugary drinks that people consume, in addition to a lot of processed foods. In the old days, that wasn't a thing. And if it was available, it cost money, and a lot of people didn't have the money to go buy snacks and things like that. They were living off the land. They were, growing their own food in their garden. They were going to the neighbor to get a chicken. A lot of that is different. Now you have a lot of fast food, a lot of convenience stores on every corner, and a lot of those places sell these foods that really aren't good for people. And I think also a lot of the younger generation, they probably don't exercise as much. A lot of the technology that we use today has made it easier for people to just sit at their home and order food on an app and have some writer come to your house and bring that food to you. So a lot of people aren't walking like they used to. My message is just be careful. Don't try to consume as much of these processed foods, because eventually you'll lead down the path that America is in, where you have a lot of overweight people there. And being overweight leads to diabetes, it leads to joint problems, you'll end up on a whole bunch of medications. So this is not a good thing. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, a lot more larger people wasn't a thing 20 years ago. Just wasn't a thing. So item number 2, there's a lot more wealth in Thailand. And I see this in the smaller villages, in the rural parts of Thailand. But the bigger cities are the bigger cities. They've always had their wealth and skyscrapers and big shopping malls. But in the rural parts, a lot more people have money, which is great. If you go down to the local mall, you will see a parking lot filled with cars, filled with motorbikes. And if you take a closer look at those cars, a lot of those cars are rather expensive. In fact, last year, when I was driving through a little town called Wang Saipun, which is in the P.S.S province, I just happened to turn my head to the left, and there was a lime green Lamborghini parked there. When you get to a little bit bigger cities, you'll see people driving Teslas. There's a lot of electric vehicles. Some of the higher end vehicles like the SUVs, those could push close to 2 million baht, which is around $60,000. And so people have better jobs. They're making more money. They're hopefully able to save more money. A lot more people are putting their kids through college. So this is a total win-win. Back in the days, that wasn't the case. A lot of people were living day by day just with the barest of essentials. Now I see a lot of new homes going up everywhere. From the larger cities, you've got subdivisions just popping up, and in the smaller cities with the farmers, you have a lot of homes going up there too. So every time I see one of them build a house, I'm very happy and proud for them, because it's their house, their place. They'll start their family and live there and give it to their kids. So it's a generational type thing. But a lot more wealth in Thailand, a lot more wealth than what Westerners probably think. So that brings us to item number 3 in my list of observations or changes over these last 20 years. The other thing that I've noticed, there's a lot more motorbikes and there's a lot more cars. And again, so when you have all that extra money, you can afford the big ticket items. I remember when I first came to Wang Saipun to go to my wife's house, one of the things that we had to do to get from the bus station to her house was take a motorbike taxi. That is no more. You will not find a motorbike taxi in that area ever again. What you have instead are cars. People will drive to the airport and they will pick you up and drive you all the way back to your home. So cars are everywhere. And with the motorbikes, instead of having one per household or zero per household 20 years ago, now you've got where one family may have 3, 4 of these motorbikes, one for each person in the house. Some of these motorbikes I've seen people ride around, they're pushing 100,000 baht, which is quite expensive, even for me. And the people that are riding the motorbikes, they range in all ages. You've got young kids that probably shouldn't be riding a motorbike, all the way to the old grandmas and grandpas driving motorbikes. Everybody wants to get around town. Everybody wants to visit their friends and chat and maybe eat some somtam, talk about the weather, how things are going, maybe a little gossip here and there. But motorbikes are everywhere. More cars, more motorbikes. Item number 4. Another change that I've seen over the last 20 years, it is more expensive here in Thailand. I remember one of the first trips that I had when I came here. I took the family on a trip, probably somewhere far, far away in the mountains. We stopped by this little restaurant, roadside restaurant, and I think it was 8, 9, maybe even 10 people that had come with me. Several adults, whole bunch of kids. And I remember sitting everybody down, getting chicken and drinks and maybe even some adult beverages. And we ate, and afterwards I had calculated, granted the conversion rates were a little bit more in favor of somebody coming from the US, but I think I calculated it was around $10 to feed that lot of people, which is amazing. Now, fast forward to today, I would not be able to do that. I'd still be able to eat nice food at a discounted rate compared to what I would have in America, but inflation is a big thing. And when the jobs are making more money, the product starts getting more expensive, the services start getting more expensive. So this is not a Thailand thing. This is a world thing. Everywhere has this problem. But this is what I've noticed. Things are more expensive. I've seen other videos that other YouTubers have done stating, it's like I'm leaving Thailand because it's too expensive. Well, yeah, you can go leave Thailand, but the problem is, if you're going back home, like if I were to go back home to America, it would be even more expensive. So what's the lesser of two evils, right? I would rather stay in Thailand at the discounted rate than go back home and suffer and have to get a job that makes $100,000, $200,000 a year just so I can live and pay the bills. Not fun. Not going to happen. So item number 5. The other thing that I've noticed over the last 20 years coming to Thailand is that with all the wealth, with all the cars, with all the motorbikes, there's a lot more scammers. And scammers come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. I think one of the most prevalent form in Thailand is probably the cold call. You just get a random call from somebody you don't know and you strike up a conversation. Another way is through the form of an SMS text message with links. Another way you might get scammed is through an email. You may have a link there. So the scammers, they'll try to triangulate as much as they can on your money. And you basically have to be smarter. Unfortunately, just again my own observations, unfortunately, Thai people are very trusting. So when they get this call and the caller on the other end says, I'm such and such important person at a bank, or important person in the government, or let's say, for the car or whatever, if they have one little tiny key piece of information that might have been leaked, unfortunately, through somebody who's an insider or something, then once they mention that key thing, you think, oh, this person must be legit. Always ask yourself, if it's too good to be true, it's probably because it is. Again, if there's some deal, like it's gotta be today, you gotta send me money today, or the deal is off, you won't ever find this ever again, this is like the telltale markings of a scam. Especially if it's your bank that's calling and they're giving you this magical story that's like, oh my gosh, somebody got in and did something wrong or whatever. Just politely tell the person on the other end of the phone and say, you know what, let me think about it. I'm gonna call back later, try to get a phone number for them. And when you call back, you call the number that's printed on your ATM card, or do a Google search and see if you can find the phone number for the local branch where you actually bank with, and call them to verify that this story is legitimate. The moral of the story is, don't trust people as much as you probably do today. Ask more questions, because you will break them. And if that other person starts getting upset with you on the phone because you're asking too many questions, chances are it's a scammer. Keep your money. Don't give it to other people. Don't let those lazy people get your money. Keep your money. Keep it for your family. Keep it for your kids. Just be smarter. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, these are my opinions. There's nothing like factual about it, but it's just based upon my observations of coming here. These are the things that I have noticed. Maybe somebody else will come up with a totally different list based upon what they've noticed. In fact, I would love to hear things that you have seen in your part of the world, or part of Thailand. I know there's a lot of people that have also been coming here quite often, and some people, expats, that have lived here for 30 years. So what's happened in 30 years? What's happened in 40 years? I'm sure a lot has changed, and I would love to hear that. So if you want to leave a comment down below, that would be awesome. The other thing is, I have more ideas for top 5s, so you'll see more of those types of videos coming out soon. In the meantime, we had a storm earlier today, so the weather is much nicer. It's very cool. It's overcast. There's some clouds here and there blocking the sun. And I am sweating, which I shouldn't be, but I think it's based on the hot shower that I took right before I started this video. But anyways, it's a lovely day. I hope it's a lovely day where you live, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please click one of the video links below or click the playlist.